Hey everybody, this is Al Johnson from the Al Johnson Show, and today, as promised, I'm gonna give you guys my review on Marvel's Echo. Spoiler alert: there will be spoilers for all 5 episodes, so you have been warned. So yeah, Echo, the show nobody asked for. I remember seeing this character for the first time in the Hawkeye show when she appeared at the end of episode 2 onward, especially episode 3 when we got her backstory, her introduction, and was played by relative newcomer Alaqua Cox. Now, when I say relative newcomer, I don't mean uh like she's like she's a newcomer in a sense that maybe she might have done a commercial or what have you, but as far as like major acting roles, this is her first big role, and she was just mainly a supporting player. But I remember even with that no that factor of like wow, debut acting role, and it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's crazy. But I was so taken aback by how much of a natural charisma Allegra Cox gave to Maya Lopez. Now, for those who don't know who Maya Lopez Echo is, in the Marvel comics, she's Native American and she's deaf and she's an anti-hero, and that's the same in the MCU, except as an added bonus, she's also an amputee, which is what also is what Allegra Cox is. And what also captivated me about Allegra Cox and her acting ability is how well she does in the action stuff, and also how well she interacts with other characters. Mainly Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin from the Netflix shows Daredevil and all of them, which are now on Disney Plus. And I remember thinking, man, this relationship is quite weird, but also a little dark. Just thinking like, oh, this powerful crime boss took in this little girl, adopted her as his niece, and taught her the ways of crime. It was odd. But then at the end of that show, Maya finds out her father was killed because of an order from Kingpin. And I remember on Hawkeye, he gave his reason as, "Oh, families don't see eye to eye," and then just like in the comics, Maya shoots him in the eye. And then I don't know if it was before the show came out or during the Hawkeye show, but I remember reading that there was going to be a spinoff all about Echo. And unlike everybody else who are like, oh, what gives? Nobody cares about this character. Who? Me, I never wavered. That's a word, right? Anyway, I never wavered. I was excited for it for 3 reasons. One, to see more of Allegra Cox, to see how well she would do now that she's the star. She's basically the lead star of the show. Two, I want to see how well, if if at all, if they would, which they did, how well they would tackle the the relationship of Maya and Kingpin. But third and most importantly, I was really looking forward to the show because the possibilities and then the actualization of the fact that there was a lot of indigenous actors on screen. There's a lot of indigenous people who worked costume, production, um, I believe visuals, the writing, the directing. It was just, it was awesome. Just like it was awesome seeing a lot of black people work on the Black Panther movies and a lot of Asian people worked on Shang-Chi. That was just awesome to see because it's always great to see a different perspective inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now we come to Echo. And even before the show was released, there was all these rumors and articles about how the show was unreleasable, it wasn't testing well, um, it wasn't being written well, the pacing was off, the structure was off. But I still was like, mm, remaining positive, remaining positive. And then the only, the only trailer, I would say the only first trailer, but it was only one trailer, everything was just commercials. But the only trailer for the show released. And I remember mostly everybody doing a complete 180 when they found out that A, it was on Disney Plus and Hulu, B, um, it was basically in canon with the Netflix shows, and three, it was TVMA. So once people saw the level of violence on the show, it was like, oh, oh also we're doing it like that now. We're doing that. Okay, we're going that route. Cool, 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 cool. I like that. I like that. I'm with it. I didn't care much for the show, but that has my interest. And so we get into the show, and remember, all it was all 5 episodes. And I think I also read somewhere that there was a deleted 6 episode because the original plan was 6 episodes, but the 6 episode that was filmed or was being filmed, people who were making the show looked at it, or the executives looked at the episodes like, yeah, this isn't gonna work, so get rid of that. I'll explain a bit later why that was not almost not a good decision. But going into the show, just the production look of the show, where it was mainly in uh, Tamaha, Oklahoma, where it was like home to indigenous, to like the indigenous community, and just like I said, seeing so many indigenous faces. I mean, of course, you had Maya, you had obviously her parents. Well, in Hawkeye, you only had the dad. You didn't see the mom. In the show, you had the mom. You had her cousin Bonnie. You had her, I guess, uncle Henry. You had her grandparents. And there was just so much going for it. I mean, the visuals, for the most part, the visuals were incredible. I mean, episode one's beginning where it showed what would be uh, the Choctaw people or where they came from. Because I believe in some indigenous tribes, there's always this belief that they're born from clay, and once the clay dissipates, they are now fully human or what have you. And I liked that like that the theme for the show was basically Maya trying to, or almost basically trying to move on from her life, move on from Kingpin, move on from the past, move on from the trauma she went through when she lost her mother as a little girl, and just being swept up in this world of crime, being indoctrinated by Kingpin. And it was just really, really great to see. I mean, like I said, the visuals were crazy, and just seeing how her ancestors were trying to connect to her. And I believe the grandfather said how the ancestors, they come to the family when they least expected, or when it wasn't planned on them being there in spirit. Yeah, I especially love, to me, like, I especially love Maya's dynamic with the people in Oklahoma and how they respond to all of the uh, the uh, the sadness and the trauma of it all, and how Maya has changed. But to me, like, obviously not just Maya, but also a great highlight of the series is Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. Just again, coming from somebody that's only seen season one of Daredevil, I have to watch other stuff, but just seeing, only going off of season one of Daredevil, it is awesome to see him back. And unfortunately, there's this dumb discourse online that, oh, they nerfed Kingpin. He's not the same as he was, and all that. It's like, if they had gotten somebody else, I would believe you. But No. And look, I get it. This show won't be for everybody. It was for me, and that's really basically the whole story with me in the MCU nowadays is while everyone else has crapped on the MCU and just pushed it aside or lambasted it or made fun of it and mocked it and all that, I was always in defense of the MCU. I always enjoyed the stuff they put out, even if everyone else didn't, and this is no exception. No exception. Oh, and also the action sequences, man, the fight sequence in the skater rink in episode 3, savage, straight savage, and also the beginning fight sequence in episode 1, where we got the appearance of Daredevil, and just how well they fought each other. And after that fight ended, I'm thinking in my head, he'll we're gonna see in the Daredevil show, Daredevil Born Again, we're gonna see that fight again, but from his perspective. We saw the fight from Miles' perspective. Now when Daredevil Born Again comes out, we're gonna see it from Matt's perspective. And also, like I said, the skater rink fight scene, savage. But also, there was so much emotion in the show, particularly with that scene in episode 4 with Maya and the grandma. And in that scene, where Maya says, "Oh, I've been having these strange dreams. I'm seeing people and all that." Grandma's like, "I see. I knew this. I had a feeling this would happen." And talking about the ancestors being there for family when they least suspected, even saying how the ancestors were there for me when I gave birth to your mother, and I didn't expect them. It's almost like they were destined to be there when I least expected it, and now it's happening to you. And a particular line the grandma says is, "Generations are echoing through us. They're reaching out to help us." And at that moment, I was like, oh, so this is why in the MCU she's called Echo. Because famously in the comics, she's called Echo because she echoes people's fighting styles, just like Taskmaster. And again, a lot of people have complained about this with the MCU. Not me. Same with Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. Why they change her from an Inhuman? Where's her stretchy ability? Where's that? Why is I'm like, I like that they did that because A, in the MCU, there can only be room for one with the stretching, and that's Mr. Fantastic, who's coming soon. And for Echo, there's already a character who can mimic people's fighting style, and that's Taskmaster, who showed up in the Black Widow movie and will be in Thunderbolts. There's already one character like that. Make the other characters unique. I like that they did that with Kamala, and I like how they did that with Maya, where through this newfound power she has, which some will argue wasn't needed, she can channel her ancestors to help her fight the bad guys. And again, like I said, I honestly wish we had gotten that deleted episode because I do feel like there were things that needed to be fleshed out more. And I do think that certain things needed to be structured better in order to make sense. And I do think the CG needed to be touched up a bit better. I still thought maybe a character's journey here or there wasn't fully fleshed out until like the end when it was rushed, which is another complaint I have that was rushed and what have you. But other than that, I have no major complaints. I enjoyed this show. It sucks the circumstances and how it came out, but I've seen more people. I've seen some people come out in defense of the show and praising the show that I've seen most people that are complaining about the show and criticizing it. But what do I know, right? But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Echo, Marvel's Echo. Let me know down below if you liked it or if you didn't like it or if you think they should not do. Oh, and one more thing. The Marvel Spotlight banner, where they're going to do more mature stories. If this is what we can expect from Daredevil Born Again, I'm all for it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. As always, I've been Al Johnson, and you're not. Go support Echo.